Hi there, my name's Aaron Short. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I know what you're thinking, not very festive today. Let's fix that, shall we? Let's see what we got over here. How about this? Yeah, that's better. And then maybe this. Hi, Santa. Good to see you, buddy. And then maybe, how about this one here? Ah, it's Rudolph. I've been singing your song this week. Good to see you here. And is there another one? Let's see what we got here. Oh, yeah. Okay. So I think I'm feeling more festive now. How about this one? Bit too much, maybe? Cheers. Actually, I quite like it. Maybe it might annoy people if I leave it up all day, though. I'll turn it off. There we go. So today is, I have to always look at the calendar, Wednesday, December the 22nd, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. And once again, I'm so amazed how this always happens. There is yet more news again. I thought when I started doing my Wednesday streams that I'd mostly be answering comments or thinking up themes to think about. I didn't think there'd be like cool news every single week, especially in 2021. And there's still cool news this week. Every week there's been something cool to talk about. Last week I spoke about the Fender Acoustasonics, the new versions, the affordable versions, and the versions that are currently on sale. And that sale ends soon, so check those out if you want to. Get one. But even this week, the week of the holidays, the week of Christmas, even this week there's been some cool stuff happening. And the biggest one is in the title down below. I shall talk about that at the end. So let me start off with the first things I saw. This week has been some software releases, and I'm really surprised because you wouldn't think they'd release software this close to the holidays. You think they'd want to save that for when everyone's back at work and not having time off in case any bugs were found or something like that. But no, Neural DSP have released this plugin. And this plugin is actually really cool. It was really unexpected, and it's actually really great. It looks like this. This is the John Petrucci plugin for Neural. So remember I said when we had the Black Friday sales recently, I said that I purchased some Neural DSP plugins. I bought 3 of them because they were on 50% discount. Well, I actually, oh cool. I'll get to the chat in a minute. I actually, I need a cup of tea. Hang on. Cheers. I would say the Soundhole Sniffer mug makes a great Christmas gift, but it may be too late now. So maybe get one for next Christmas. So I bought 3 of the Neural DSP plugins, and I played some clips of them 2 weeks ago, and I really like them. I think out of the box they sound great. I think we decided that actually the Helix stood up to it really well. And the Helix plugin is like the cost of 2 Neural plugins, and it gives you all this stuff in one package. The thing about the Neural plugins is they're all separate. They're all individual. Paul Tortland, thank you so much. I really appreciate the subscription. I will give you one of these. Thank you, buddy. Good to see you here. Welcome. The Neural plugins are great. They look really cool, but they're all like separate. So you can load them all into your DAW like Logic and use elements of each one if you use that workaround. But it would be really great if they released a suite where you could load those plugins in and use them all together. That would be killer if they did that. But I gotta say, I love the simplicity of them. I love the kind of analog approach. You know, you see the picture of the amp on the screen. It's all high resolution graphics, which you don't get on some of the other plugins. You know, even the Line 6 plugins have still not been updated for like the really high-res screens. So the Neural stuff looks great, it sounds great out the box, but it's not the most affordable way to go. The most affordable way to go is still Helix Native, and that is still a good option. But this John Petrucci one is really interesting, and there's some really cool stuff in here that's different as well. So I don't know if anyone's checked it out yet. There is a free trial. I bought it because they actually offered an extension on that deal from Black Friday. They honored the extra discount for this one. I think it was 30% off. So I tried it and I really liked it, so I bought it. And the reason this is interesting is it's got some really interesting features that will hopefully find their way into their hardware, which is the quad cortex. They still haven't found a way yet for you to load these plugins into a quad cortex, but they said that it's going to come, and of course it will come. They wouldn't make plugins for computers and a hardware device and not put them together. That would be really crazy if they didn't get that working. But what's exciting is when you buy these, you'll be able to use them in the quad cortex, and there's some features in here that I think allude to the future of that device. For example, this plugin is the first to have a metronome. I think that's really cool. I think it's really easy to do, because all you do, if you think about it, is have the tap tempo for the delays also have a metronome sound. So this has that. So if they can put that feature across the quad cortex, that's something that Fractal have, Line 6 don't have, Kemper doesn't have. So right there's a cool new feature that I think is really useful to practice to. Then we also have 4 different amps, and one of those is labeled piezo. Now I think this is really meant to run a piezo through from an electric guitar, because John Petrucci has a piezo in his electric guitar, so that totally makes sense. But I thought about trying my acoustic through it, because it sounds pretty good. The Kemper acoustic sim, the Helix acoustic sim, some of these plugins you can buy, they make the guitar more acoustic-like. I don't really like them. I would never use them myself. I did some videos on them to try them out when they first got released. I don't love them. I think this one is really interesting. I think this one sounds really good. So I'm going to try that with my actual acoustic. I thought it'd be a cool video, like John Petrucci plugin with acoustic, and then people will think I'm playing metal on the acoustic, but I'm actually looking at the acoustic sim. That may or may not happen depending on how successful my tests are. But I played the electric through it. It sounds great. The cab sims now have a room mic, which is a feature that I love, which is something the Oxbox has, which is a really cool thing. I think it makes everything sound so much more real when you're playing with headphones. It has that feature. So these are all workarounds. All these features I've mentioned could be kind of worked around with a quad cortex, with all these workarounds. But if they can make these native in the quad cortex, it's then got loads of cool features that the others don't have. The other modelers, that is. And I think that's really exciting. So I think this plugin alludes to the future of the quad cortex, and it makes me quite excited. I just hope I'm not wrong. I just hope when we get to January, they'll release some big update 2.0 for quad cortex that does allow this, and all these features go in, and it just makes it this killer box. Again, if you want to buy the plugins and put them in, you unlock those features in the quad cortex. I think that'd be great. And I've said before, I'm not a fan of buying presets and profiles and captures, but with these plugins, you can download them and try them for 14 days. So if you have an audio interface and studio monitors and a decent computer, you should try the demos of all the neural plugins and see what you think. Yeah, don't go out and just buy them all. That's like $1,000. But download some of the trials and try them out for yourself and see what you think. The biggest challenge I had with this plugin was latency. You got to make sure you set up your DAW correctly. When you're playing through something like Logic, make sure all the settings are correct. Your hardware is all up to date, the latest drivers. Make sure you set your buffer low as you can, depending on your machine. I managed to get it working fine, but I had to make some adjustments when I was playing the guitar. So I'm really impressed. I think it's quite exciting, and I'm impressed that they released this the week before the holidays. I think that's really cool. Also, along those lines, there's a big update for the FM9 from Fractal, and that's only beta, which makes sense. They wouldn't release that big update like that before the holidays. So that's a beta, and it's one of the biggest betas they've done for their product. So they're really pushing ahead as well. As for Line 6, there is a half and a full update coming for the Helix products. I know that because the head of the project put on the forums that's coming very soon. So I know that's coming very soon. When that releases, I'll look at that. But I think that's just going to be small additions and tweaks. I don't think we'll see anything major from Line 6 until we get new hardware. And that would be interesting. I think 2022 is gearing up to be really exciting, because I think we'll see a lot of products that were going to be released last year that weren't, and hopefully they'll be more finished off because they've had more time to develop them. I also think we'll just see more products in general. That would have come in 2022, of course. And that leads me on to the fact that PRS, I don't know why they did this. They've already pre-announced that they're going to be announcing I don't know if they're releasing it, but they're going to be announcing the SE Silver Sky in January. I think it's January the 11th, which is what they normally do. NAMM is normally like around the 20th of January, and PRS normally have an event, I believe, a week before, just so they avoid the craziness of it all. So I think that's the same thing for that. So they've announced it early, and we're going to talk about that next once I've gone through the chat. Okay. Let me come back over here. It's better. Yeah, I'm quite digging the lights, actually. Last year you had Happy Holidays and some holly watching from Suffolk, did I? Oh, I had the holly in the corner. I think I made that, though. This is a pack that I bought from livestreamingpros.com. They made some more graphics. Last year they made the snow, which looked like this. And this year they've made these graphics here. So I got those. They're pretty good. They make good stuff. I use them for the Halloween graphics as well. I'm going to leave the lights up. Greg, how you doing? So Greg is from Perry Hall, Maryland, the land of Paul Reed Smith. That's awesome. So we're talking about Paul Reed Smith today. Matthew Carver, happy holidays, everyone, from Ohio. And Mike says, hi, Aaron. I'm migrating my acoustic rig to HX Stomp. Was using the NuX for IR and some additional pedals. Sounds really good. So tell me more, Mike. Are you using the NuX to create an IR of your guitar and then export that and load it into the Stomp? You know, I gotta say, I take my hat off to NuX because none of the other companies allow you to take your IRs you've created and use them in other products like the HX Stomp. And the HX Stomp is a very good IR loader because it allows you to load, is it 2048 length of IRs, where the Quad Cortex I was just talking about, for example, only loads half that length. Whether you can hear it or not, you have to do a test, but usually with acoustic guitars, the longer lengths are preferred, more desirable. So yeah, definitely compare the two. But NuX will let you take that out. I know why Aura and the other companies like Bags and Tone Dexter don't allow it. It's because you could borrow a friend's pedal, make the IR, and then load it into an HX Stomp. They would lose sales. I totally get that, that's fine. But I like the fact NuX allow it. I have got videos on my channel of how to do it. You can actually just do this yourself through something like Logic. It's doable, but it's a bit of a hassle, but it's doable. But with NuX, you make the IR, and then you export it to your computer, and you just drop it into the Helix. That's really cool. That is a really cool thing. I'll use cookies for the IR. Okay, yeah, they're great too. I think my favorite from that last video, that the Ultimate Shootout, was the NuX IRs and the Kooky IR. They're both really good. Yeah, and then the problem that the companies have is that if they make a pedal that just makes an IR that's as much money as an HX Stomp, they've got quite a tough call there, because the HX Stomp does so much stuff, doesn't it? It will give you the EQs, the reverbs, the compressors, the tuner. There's so much value in that, and it will load the IR, where the other boxes pretty much are just IRs and EQ, maybe reverb. Very, very focused on the creation of the IR. I would love to see someone like Neural DSP or Line 6 allow a way to create your own acoustic IRs that rivals those other things that I looked at. That would be really cool, because then, well, it would just be really cool. But sadly, as we know, the focus is not on acoustic guitars these days. The focus is on electric guitars. Hence why the latest plugin from Neural is the Petrucci. And I haven't even really listened to Dream Theater. I love the Petrucci Mesa amps. His guitars are cool, and that plugin sounds really cool, even for what I play. I love it. But none of these companies are going for the James Taylor archetype. So that's a shame. That is a shame. Maybe that will change. Can you imagine the Neural plugin for Tommy Emmanuel? That would be really cool. It was great. Watched it again. Cool. Thank you. Hey, that was the only way I could do it. I spent so many hours, days, weeks last year comparing all those different pedals for acoustic IR. it was driving me crazy. And it was just making me go insane. That I know, I just had to do something. So I was like, right, I'm just going to make a video and compare everything, and then I'll know. And yeah, my favorites from that were the NUX and the Kooky. But the thing is, firmware, and I'm being nice here, but firmware is always changing. All right, the Bags pedal came out a long time ago. They've had a lot of time to work, get information, improve. Maybe they even have new products coming next year as well. We know that like Aura HD is coming next year, and I think they're going to allow us to create our own IRs. There's going to be a lot of stuff coming. It's just the acoustic players get it slower than the electric players. The electric players get it much faster. They get a new plugin every week for electric, right? And we don't get that. But it is great that NUX allow you to export the IR from the pedal and use it in something else. I love that. Aaron P, best name in the chat, Aaron. Of course, I am biased. Yeah, the 3 Sigma IRs, they're interesting, aren't they? The 3 Sigma IRs are very interesting because they sound great in the demos. Well, then again, everything sounds great in YouTube demos from companies, right? But when you listen to those online, they sound incredible, but they don't work for me. For me, the only IRs that sound really good are the ones that I create myself for the guitar. And even then, they don't sound exactly like the microphone. Should they sound exactly like the microphone? Well, to me, yes, but that's asking a lot, isn't it? The day that I can come on here and say I've got a product where the microphone I use to create the acoustic IR sounds exactly the same as the microphone, that's going to be incredible. That's what I'm looking forward to. Even then, that's not the end of creating a great acoustic tone, because that tone still isn't ideal for stage, but at least that would be a starting point where you've got that mic sound created again to use live. Sometimes the IRs and these impulse responses have these weird sounds and frequencies that I can hear, and I end up just not using them at all. So, Sammy Superstar, how you doing? Merry Christmas, Sammy. Happy holidays. Not happy with the 3S, 3 Sigma, yeah. Well, you know why that is, Mike? It's because they're not made for the guitar. So that's such an important thing to remember. The IR is recreating the microphone in front of your guitar, your exact guitar. Not even your model of guitar, your exact guitar. That's what it's recreating. So when you load in someone else's IR that they made with their guitar, it doesn't match. Now it can improve, it can sound good, but if you think about it, theoretically, it won't work. And that's one thing I have with captures and things too. If someone's used a different guitar to me, it won't just work because they've used their guitar with their pickups. I think it's really important to find the acoustic guitar, electric guitar that you want to start with, and then create captures and IRs from that. Because that way, it's for your thing, right? The other stuff can work and it can sound, better, but it's not the same. Not sure I needed to. Kookie's got so much great stuff. Yeah, Kookie's stuff was really up there at the top when I did that video. But the thing about Kookie's stuff is he's doing that part-time. He will make IRs for people if you want him to, if you ask him nicely. But he's only got so much time. So the actual commercial product to create an acoustic IR, I think the best one out there right now is the NUX. But I think next year that will all change. I think we'll see different things. Okay. Aaron P says, IRs do look interesting. Haven't had a chance to try them out. Currently using a TC body res and a Fishman Platinum. Pretty happy with the sound. I never liked the body res stuff. I always just made the sound very thin to me, but maybe it was just me and my pickup. Remember, this is all dependent on the pickup you use. There's so many different acoustic guitar pickups out there that they all react differently with different pedals. So I did try that briefly because that's built into my TC Voice Live pedals, but it never really worked for me. The Platinum DI and similar, I think, are great. I think a really good EQ, a really good sounding EQ and flexible EQ is important for any pickup. Because lately I've been running the Bags Anthem straight into my pedal with no EQ, just a low cut. And it sounds really good for the gigs. But the thing is, I know it will sound even better if I EQ it, but I haven't. So the fact that it sounds acceptable to great, that's a wide range, isn't it? The fact that it sounds pleasing to me straight in, I think is really impressive, but I know it'll sound even better with EQ. We totally went off on a derailment there about acoustic IRs. I can't get away from them, but that's fine. It's been one day, says Mike. Yeah, give it a try. And you know what? Don't do what I did. Don't just spend hours and hours on it, and take a break. In fact, sometimes just abandon it altogether for a week or two and come back fresh, and always compare it to the real thing. I think that's important as well. Poo Ninja says the quest for perfect tone is never ending. Yes, it is, Poo Ninja. The thing is, Poo Ninja, I'm also of the mind lately where I'm contradicting myself, but I'm searching, but I'm not searching in quite such a desperate way that I was before. Like, I know now what works for me, and I use it, and I'm happy with it, and I've got a new outlook now. If something sounds good enough for me, bearing in mind that I'm really fussy, if something sounds good enough for me and the gig goes great, and that happens a few times in a row, I stick with that thing. Or I make a marker in my brain like, that's great. Because otherwise you can go round and round and round and round and round. So I'm coming from that perspective now. I've been using just 2 or 3 pickups for everything that I do. And not to discredit the other ones, not to discard them. And I will definitely revisit them as new technologies become available. But you don't want to just keep going round and round in circles. Like, what's the point of that, right? You do have to make a decision at some point. So that's why I kind of gave up on acoustic impulse responses. I still think impulse responses are kind of the future, but I just think that they've got too many drawbacks and too many quirks for me at the moment. Especially because we're mostly playing online anyway and streaming, so why not just use a real microphone? That's really what it comes down to. Has Poo Ninja seen Santa in space? I don't think so, because Santa is here. Look. There he is. Ho, ho, ho. He's taking a guitar to Poo Ninja right now. Sadly, if he takes the guitar to Poo Ninja, we get no gifts down here on planet Earth, because he'll be too busy flying to outer space on his sleigh. Yeah, or be like David. Great advice, David. Why make a decision? Just keep buying more stuff. I know, you've got gas. No. I know you don't mean that. Actually, maybe you do. All right, let's talk about the main story then, the main topic here. So, ta-da! You know, I'm sure when these came out, they were not as expensive. Well, of course they weren't. That was 3 years ago, and prices of guitars seem to go up every year now without fail. So a Silver Sky now is $25.49, which is getting close to kind of Sir territory. They're around 3,000 now. I'm not saying anything about Sir or PRS and pricing, but they're not cheap, are they? They are an artist model. John Mayer gets his cut, which is fair enough. He deserves to. But Silver Sky is $25.49. So for a long time, and these have been going really well, but for a long time, people have been saying, when are we going to get the SE version? Now, what does SE stand for with PRS guitars? It's clearly not special edition. Is it student edition? Someone tell me in the chat, because I'm not sure. But we don't know any details. We don't know what they're going to look like, what colors they're going to offer. We don't know what's going to be different. We don't know what the price is going to be. They've just pre-announced the announcement. I think it's really weird. Why would they do that? Is that because Christmas is coming up and people might say, oh, that's coming out in a few weeks, so actually I'll have that as my late Christmas gift. Is that the reason? I don't know. But tell me what you think of that. Would you buy one? Well, there's 2 questions here. This is exactly like the conversation we had last week about the Acoustasonic and the Mexican Acoustasonic. Would you buy, well, first of all, do you like the Silver Sky? Have you played one and do you like it? And second of all, let's just guess that the SE version is going to be $13.50. Let's say it's going to be $13.50. Do you think it will be? I don't know much about PRS pricing. Let's say it's going to be $1,000 less. Let's say it's going to be $15.49. Would you buy one, or would you rather save up and get the current edition? I don't have many thoughts on it because I'm not a big fan of the Silver Sky. I think the pickups are great. I don't like the hardware, the kind of plastic hardware, and the neck for me isn't very comfortable. Although I've heard that the necks on some of the guitars are different to other guitars, so maybe I would like that. I still can't get away from the Strat myself. It's interesting because today I saw a video of John Mayer playing the Corey Wong Strat, the signature Strat. They swapped guitars, and it was weird seeing John Mayer play a Strat after such a long time. And I gotta say, like everyone says, it doesn't matter. He sounds like John Mayer, whether he's playing a Silver Sky, a Fender Strat, or a Donner Strat. He sounds exactly the same because the tone is in his fingers, his phrasing, his attack, all these things. But as a guitar, what do you think? I can't really get my thoughts around it. I mean, look, I guess I wore the wrong shirt today to be talking about this, right? It kind of gives away that my prejudice for Fender guitars. But I don't know what my thoughts are. I think it's good they're releasing it. It's interesting to see that these are sold out. So is this the reason? Is this the reason they're doing the SE Import Edition? Because they can't make enough at PRS? I mean, that would make sense, right? Isn't that why you do that, aside from bringing the cost down and selling more? These are all out of stock, look. These are all out of stock. So that's got to be the reason, hasn't it? They're all out of stock, so they thought, well, let's get more. Let's make them at another factory. I don't know. I'm going to read the chat because I need help with this one. It is the student edition. Okay. $13.50 would be way too much for an import version of a Strat. Yeah, but a PRS SE, aren't they generally more expensive than other brands that make imports just because they're PRS and they're still designed by PRS? There are a lot of guitars out there for that money. Yes, I agree. That is the biggest thing for me. There's so many great affordable guitars now. But we've had that argument forever, for everything. We have that argument about acoustics, all gear. There's great multi-effects pedals for $100 on Amazon. But people want to buy the one that says Fractal or Line 6. They want the name. With guitars, they want it to say PRS on the headstock. They want it to say Fender on the headstock. They want it to say Martin on the headstock. We've always had that argument. I think the thing about this is there's so many people that really want a PRS Silver Sky because John Mayer plays it. You know, John Mayer has such a huge fan base, especially among guitarists. I know you're going to say not everyone likes him. I'm sure people in the chat here don't like him. But I am a fan. I'm a fan. I'm always seeking out his guitars. If I play his guitars and don't like them, I won't buy one. So I'm not going to buy this guitar just because he plays one if I don't like something about it. That's for sure. But I think there's a lot of people that want this. It's been such a popular guitar. Look, they're all out of stock. It's so popular, they're out of stock, even at that price. And there's a lot of people that can't afford that price. $25.49 is really high-end gear, isn't it? That's boutique prices. So if you can get one for 16, 13, whatever it's going to be, I'm just guessing, then they're going to sell a lot, right? I think they'll sell more of these. Well, I shouldn't. I'm not going to say that. It depends on the price. This all depends on the price. I was going to say they'll sell more of these than the Fender Acoustasonic, the import version. That's not fair. Oh, Aaron P, thank you. Where are you? MYR. I don't know, but I appreciate it anyway. Cheers. We had the argument last week about the Acoustasonics, where if you wait a little bit, the price of those new Acoustasonics will make it worthwhile. Right now you save $600 and you could just buy a used USA version. But if you wait 6 months for those Mexican Acoustasonics to go on the used market, you might get one for $800. And that's a great purchase. Then you'll be laughing all the way home. With these, it may be the same thing. If they price the SE at, let's say, 18, they won't do 18, but let's say it's 18. Then you'll argue, well, I'll just get a great deal from a store, give Sweetwater a call, or look for a used one on Reverb or a friend and get one for 18 that's USA. I don't care. Well, that's a great idea. But then when the SE version goes on sale that was 18 in 6 months' time, when someone needs to sell that on Reverb, in a hurry, you might get it for $1,000. Imagine getting a Silver Sky SE for $1,000. Again, you're laughing all the way home. That's how I think about it. But I think they'll just sell out immediately anyway because people will just be desperate to get them. I don't know. But what it has given me the most is kind of excitement for 2022. Because if we're already hearing about a PRS Silver Sky for 2022, then what else is coming? What else are we going to get in 2022? And the amount of gear news there's been just this year. I mean, today was supposed to be a look back at the year. But there's been so much stuff released this year, in these difficult times. It's really impressive. So what's 2022 going to be like? It could be really crazy, especially when we're starting with this. I realize that NAMM has been put back to June, but they are going to have Believe in Music, which will be around the 20th of January, which again is the week after they announced this guitar. So I think we'll see new releases on that date. Of course, this is all subject to parts and, problems we're facing right now. But and by the way, I'm not diminishing that stuff either. I'm just purely talking about the gear here. So yeah, I think we'll see a lot. Funny enough, what I hope for the most next year is more firmware updates, more software. JBL still don't have that app working for those speakers in the way that makes me happy. There's things that the Line 6 Helix doesn't do that it could do that would make me happy. The Quad Cortex doesn't have all the features they advertised at launch. I could go on and on and on. And even Apple don't have all the features they advertised for their software. And look at them, they're one of the biggest companies in the world, if not the biggest company in the world, right? So software is something that can be done remotely and doesn't have problems with shipping. There's also the new Boss RC600 that everyone's talking about still. People are starting to get them now. I see the reviewers are getting them, and that should be shipping next year as well. But to throw an iron into that fire, a new app just got released called Loopy HD, and that's something you should know about as well. Now, the apps on the App Store, I've been a bit same with IRs. This is tying together nicely, actually. So the same with IRs, the way they kind of drove me crazy. Using apps drove me crazy too. And yet, like the IRs, I saw this potential in them. Well, this new Loopy HD, that's just been released for iOS. I'm not sure if it's on Android. I don't think so. I'm not sure. But I just got it for iPhone. About $20, and it looks really promising. It looks really exciting. So if you're into loopers, then check that out for sure. And yeah, I've been through the features on my phone. It looks really exciting. Again, I haven't dug out the MIDI controller and plugged it in and tried to program it because I've got some other videos to make. And when you start doing that, you just lose your life to that stuff. But again, be aware that if I do that, and it works out, and it does seem something that's worth talking about, I'll make a video about it to show you that it is worth doing. But again, the software is really exciting, and they've got a great app there. It's just I would love to see the hardware companies make apps like that, where the app works with hardware and is very easy to program. Because programming all this stuff from scratch is kind of a drag, unless you really love it. David thinks that this... Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to take a bet. I'm going to come back to this when they release it. Yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make a note on my computer so I can save it. PRS Silver Sky SE. Give me your guess for the price, and when they release it, and I include it in the news that week, we'll see who got the closest to the price. So what did I say? I think I said $13.50, then I said $15.49. I mean, if the Silver Sky now is $25.49, even $15.49, $1,000 off. That's a big difference, isn't it? And then I thought $13.49 because that's over $1,000 off. I think I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to say Aaron's guess is $13.59. I don't think they'll go lower than that. I think it may be $13.59. I can't have two, can I? But I'm just going to put it in brackets there. Or $15.49. I'm still thinking $15.49. But I think, yes. I think I'll stick with $13.59 as my first guess. And I've written that down. So I'm going to write David's guess down. And I'm going to see who got it right. So put me your guess in the chat. This is US dollars, by the way. US dollars. David said $9.99. I mean that'd be amazing, wouldn't it? They'll sell so many of those if it's $9.99. And then imagine when it's on the used market 12 months later and you can get one for $600. That's crazy. Really crazy. Let's see, we got any more guesses? Okay, Mike says 10. $10.99. Oh, you're playing it safe there. A little bit over the 1,000. David says $13.59 is more than the Hollow Body 2 with piezo. Yes, but don't forget, John Mayer gets paid every time they sell a guitar. John Mayer gets paid every time they sell a guitar. So that adds on a few $100, $200 to $300. Mark Henry, I'm writing your guesses down. When it releases, you've got to come to the chat because we're going to see who got the closest. $13.39.99. $13.39.95. Oh dear. Okay, I've got $13.59. David's got $9.99. Mike's got $10.99, and Mark's got $13.39. And Aaron P has got $15.99. Okay, so I'm going to leave that in my notes. So we'll bring that back up when they release that. It's going to be such a huge deal. They're going to sell so many of them. There's going to be millions of videos about them, comparing them to the American version. The American version. So I just wonder. I wonder if there'll be another American version, and I wonder if they'll do something like change the pickups or the neck. I wonder if you'll get the same stuff. I don't know. If you know about SE guitars, then you'll know how that all works. I've never had a PRS SE before, so I'm not sure. Let me go back to the chat here. Most of the PRS SE models that David's had are well under 1K. I had and sold a PRS SE hollow body. 1K new. It was nice, but not really close to my USA holly body. It'd be a holly body if it was a Christmas guitar. He bought it used for $500, sold it for more. You see, I'm thinking that more and more lately. More and more lately, I'm thinking, wait, get the guitar used. Sometimes you see online, I bought this guitar, I didn't touch it. I'm selling it for $500 or more after than what I paid street price. It's nuts. You can get those deals, and that's really the way to do it. Then you get to try guitars, and then when you go to sell them, the price may have gone up because, like I said earlier, lately all the guitars have gone up every year anyway. So when you go to sell that used guitar, the price may have increased, and you end up getting more money back than you paid for it. That's a great way to buy gear if you can be like David. If you can do that, if you can make money when you buy gear and sell it on, that's much better than buying new gear and losing money on it. I have to get rid of some stuff. I have to, what's the word? I have to, clear out. What's the word? I have to do the thing. I can't think. I have to get rid of some stuff. I have two guitars that I mostly wanted to review. Well, right now it's one. It's the 0018 guitar that I bought to review the pickup with, and then I got another guitar I really want, which is that custom shop from Maury's Music. So I'm selling that 0018 with the Dazzo. This is the problem I'm up against. Let me tell you this story because maybe you can offer me some advice. So I got this guitar, which right now, brand new, is $2,500, right? I'm not sure if places are doing discounts now or not, but it's $2,500 plus tax. So I got this guitar and I've had this pickup installed, which is worth around, the pickup installed was worth around $300. It's a boutique pickup, which is very highly regarded, but a lot of people don't know what it is. It's the Dazzo, okay? So I got that pickup in there. Now, to me, that adds value because if you want that guitar with that pickup, you have to have that installed and buy the pickup. Of course, to some people, that doesn't add value because they don't want a pickup. They don't want to plug in anyway. And to some people, that degrades value because they want a guitar straight from the factory with no pickup. They don't want anything done to that guitar, which I also understand. I just thought maybe on the internet I could find someone that wanted the 00018 with a Dazzo pickup. And then rather than buy one and go through all the hassle of having that done, if you buy the guitar and go through all that hassle of shipping and having it installed and buying the pickup, you could spend well over $3,000. So I'm like, okay, great. I can probably get 2,200. I think that's fair. 2,200. It's in mint condition. It sounds great. I've got videos on it where I've demoed it and reviewed it. It plays great. It's got that pickup. I thought there must be someone that will buy that for $2,200. Nothing. And it's getting really hard as well now to sell stuff because I don't know if you found this as well, but I put it on Facebook Marketplace. Straight away, scam, 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 scam. Lowball, scam, 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 scam. Lowball, scam. It was so bad that I just deleted it. I was like, this is crazy. I thought, right, let's try Reverb. I already tried Reverb, of course. Reverb's the same, not really much interest. Well, actually, loads of watchers, but no interest. I almost made a video where I go live and I keep dropping the price until someone buys it just to see how low it's going to go. It's really crazy. I think maybe because it's the week before the holidays, people are not spending money right now. Maybe. But I guess when you sell something, you've got to find the person that wants that thing. So for me, I've got to find someone that wants a 00018 with a Dazzo pickup. If I find that person, I think they would pay a fair price, right? Because that's exactly what they were going to get, and it saves them all that hassle of getting one. But if you don't want that, it's really difficult to find that. So let me know, are you selling stuff lately, and are you finding the used market very difficult? One more thing, I've also got my old camera that I'm selling. I put that on, same thing, exact same situation with that, but also I put it on eBay, and same thing, scam, 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 scam on eBay. I have a buy it now price, which is fair. It's $1,600 for a mint camera that retails for $2,000, and I have the buy it now price only, and I got an offer for $1,600. It doesn't make any sense. An offer for $1,600. So why are they doing that? I looked up on Google. That's a scam. They make you an offer for the money. You do it. Somehow they get around eBay or something like that. So more scams. So it's just like, what is going on? I never had this before. This amount of like bots and scammers and lowball. I mean, lowballers are kind of annoying too. I know we all make offers, but I think when you make an offer for something, you should be respectful and not just see that someone's just listed something for $1,600 and offer them $600. I think that's just terrible. Well, it's not terrible. It's just annoying to the seller. It's annoying to me. So let me know. Let me know if you've sold anything lately. If you've got any tips for where to sell stuff. I hope they fixed the looper on the HX Stomp to listen for playing. What do you mean, Mike? The looper's fine. It's just very basic. The looper in the Headrush MX5 is much better. Well, actually, that had a glitch, but I believe they fixed it with a firmware update. Firmware. But it does allow you to load loops in, which is cool. What's the problem with the HX Stomp looper? Because you know you can move that around, right? It's really cool because you can drag it wherever you want it. You can have it at the very end of the chain, so when you record, it will also record your effects. Or you can have it right at the start of the chain, so when you play it, it won't have any effects. It's like you're playing the guitar, but you're not, and you can walk around the room and listen. That is a really useful feature. That's why the Quad Cortex needs that. Oh, Aaron's in Malaysia. That's right. You were talking to the real team last week, right? Fractal is fully fleshed out and they put out beta 2.0. Crazy. What do you mean by fleshed out? You mean features? I know they've sold out until, they're saying they've sold out until like March 2022. Mike said $10.99. Did I get that one? I think I did. Yeah. Looking forward to that day. Yeah, I wrote all your guesses down. They're all in a note on my computer. I don't play electric guitar, but I join in the fun. Speaking of spam, I got lots of spam today in the chat too. I think we just live in a world of spam these days. And then don't get me started on the mail either, right? Spam, 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 spam. That could be a good song. Oh, I didn't take into account 2022 price hikes, but I might as well stick to my guess. Yep. I was just saying on the Monday show this week, David, the gear I have here on this side of me, I've got like 4 things and they've all gone up in price this year. Everything. Aaron is waiting to sell the Gibson J15 at a higher price. Yeah. Thin the herd. Yeah, that's a good one. Jared says your accent sounds a bit Aussie. Yeah, people say that. The place I'm from in England, people say you sound either like a farmer or like you're Australian. David says 1,500. What, are you changing your guess? You're not allowed to. You just heard my thoughts on it all. You have to go with your thoughts, David. I'm keeping you at $9.99. There's no way in heck that's going to be $9.99, David. Okay, good. Grant says, I have a similar experience on Facebook Marketplace lately. Yep. Good. That's not just me then. It takes a few years to sell. No. It's never take me that long. Never. During the lockdown, I could sell stuff immediately. It would go straight away for exactly what I wanted for it. Now, I think, I'm just guessing. I'm just thinking a lot of people have bought a lot of guitars in the lockdown. A lot of people have got to spend money for the holidays. A lot of people are waiting for their taxes, to file their taxes. There's a lot of uncertainty right now, all those kind of things. So I think that's what it is. Now, Jared, though, right, I do agree that I should wait. Is that what you're saying? I should wait? I mean, I could keep dropping the price of something until I basically give it away. I don't really want to do that unless I have to. So I think you're right. Do a really good listing, really good information, really good photos, really good video. Thank you, Marianne. I appreciate it. Do all that stuff and let it sit. And then when that exact person that wants that exact thing is ready and they see it, they will buy it. And then you'll get the price that you wanted. Yeah. Am I selling the GPC? Sorry, Mike, no. I actually sold I don't know if you know this story, I sold the GPC Aura that I had for a few months. So I bought that from Guitar Center and I sold that for what I paid for it, which really surprised me. I thought with that I would lose money because the Guitar Center price was pretty high. You know, some of those old guitars with the Aura technology are selling for high prices right now because people love the pickup. Be warned though, those parts won't be available forever. There'll be a time when you can't get those parts. Now, maybe you won't need to. I'm not trying to scare anyone, but that's just something to factor in when you're shopping. So I actually got exactly the price back for that I wanted. And then I bought a GPC 28 from Maury's Music because I just wanted a 28 style guitar with the Anthem. I love the inlay on the Aura guitar, but the pickup, I used that outside a couple of times. It wasn't exactly what I wanted. Didn't give me the body sounds and everything. So I got the 28 with the Anthem instead, and I got my money back for the other guitar. So I got to revisit the Aura system and then get a different guitar. So I don't know if you're talking about that one or not, but that's what I'm currently gigging, is the GPC 28E Anthem. I actually think the bigger guitars sound a bit better with the Anthem, but I like the comfortability and everything about that guitar. So it's cool. I've been using that a lot lately. Aaron P says, from my experience, people don't usually see the value of the pickup. Better to remove it and install it on one of your own guitars. I agree. It's just with a glued-in pickup in a guitar, if you remove it, you might destroy it. And the thing with that pickup is, I guess they don't know what it is. It's such a minimal thing. It's ideal for a guitar like that. It's ideal for someone that doesn't want a pickup because there's really nothing in the guitar. So to take it out to me seems pointless. I guess you could take it out and reuse it, but if you damage it, you'll destroy the pickup. I would rather find someone that wants that guitar with that pickup and sell it to them, but I realize that'll take me a long time to find that person. With the camera, it just blows my mind. I don't know what's going on with that. It's just, everyone just seems to be a scammer that contacts me. Big difference between retail and garage sale prices. Yeah, I agree. And there's this thing lately, I think, with buying and selling where the seller believes they should get their money back for what they paid for it, and the buyer believes they should get it for 50% off the retail price. But what about if you've got something that is in, like, Guitar Center hanging on the wall condition? Okay, bear in mind you won't get the warranty because you're not the original buyer. But if you've got something that's basically mint and been checked over and working great and sounding great and played in just a little bit, shouldn't that be closer to the retail price than half the price? I think so. But maybe everyone doesn't feel that same way. Careful with high value items. Get insurance. Somebody with good feedback, otherwise cancel the sale. Yeah, and you hear horror stories of people saying the guitar never arrived or the guitar case was empty and things like that. I mean, I'm not really. It's funny. I'm not worried about that stuff. I've sold so much stuff over the years. This isn't the first time I'm selling. It's just right now I've noticed an uprise in lowballing and spamming and scamming. That's all. Hi, Marianne. How are you doing? Good to see you. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas from Rudolph. There may be a Christmas show on Friday. I'm not confirmed yet. If I'm going to do it, then I'll let you know last minute. So do subscribe and ring the bell. Oh, she's hiding my picture. Subscribe and ring the bell to Aaron Short Music, because if I decide to do a Christmas Eve concert on Friday, I will announce it that day and I'll just do it. So you have to be subscribed and ring the bell, turn on notifications, and it will tell you that I'm going live or I've gone live. Okay, I'm not going to commit to that. It may happen, it may not, depending on the schedule. eBay is good, but you can also search eBay just for price and sell on Facebook. Yeah, I sold one thing on Facebook last year, and it went okay, it went fine, it all worked out, but... Well, let's just face it, buying and selling kind of sucks anyway, most of the time. Does not listen for you to start playing. Yeah, they'll never add that, I don't think, Mike. You have to press the button. I really want to make my beginner's guide to looping. I keep getting asked to make a beginner's guide to looping, and I've got several loopers here that I could use for that video, but there's one looper that I really want to use for that video. It's the TC Ditto X2. They're all sold out as well. So I've actually been looking for a used one of those, and they're all expensive too. You know, they want a lot of money for a pedal that's been used and damaged and covered in Velcro and beer, just because they're not available other places. I guess that makes sense, but I'll just wait for them to come into stock at like Sweetwater and just get one for the actual price. And then I'll make the video on that. More scammers on Facebook and Gumtree. Gumtree is a UK site. Gumtree is like Craigslist. I haven't tried Craigslist actually. Mike wants to be able to have the looper to start and have the looper wait while you start playing and then start recording automatically. Yeah, I know. Listen to, right? So it's listening, or when you play when it hears a certain threshold of volume, it records. You see, Line 6 never really made the looper in the Helix a performance looper. If anything, it's a practice looper and a way to set your tones. The fact that you can record the guitar and the looper, put it as block 1, and then set up your tones is useful. The fact that you can practice with it at home and record and basically listen back to your performance and criticize it is useful. But I would never want to use that as a performer. It doesn't have enough features for me. For me, the Bassmark looper is like the Voice Live 3 Extreme. They got it right. And they got it right in a pedal that's really underpowered, really light, and they can do it and the others can't do it. I guess the others are putting all that processing power, again, into the electric side, because that's what they think people want. But I think every pedal now should have a looper as good as or better than the Voice Live 3 Extreme. They really nailed that. I also don't recommend spending lots on a second-hand guitar unless you're ready to get it serviced. because some have issues. Yeah, you know, Jared, though, just to give another spin on that, I've had several guitars where I've got them and really like them, but they've had an issue I had to have fixed or repaired. And I've done that. And if I was to then sell it, I feel like that's actually better than buying it from the store because I've got it in the shape that it needs to be. Now, you might argue and say, well, why didn't you just send it back? But there's been 2 guitars that I've bought in the past where I liked the guitar. I didn't want to send it back. And I've had those little things fixed, maybe new tuners or a dent in the fretboard, had those fixed and got it all set up and nice and cleaned it up. And then it's like one of the best guitars I've ever played. So you can avoid that. On the flip side, like you're saying, they might sell a guitar that has issues and that's why they're selling it. But there is another way to look at that as well. David is quoting, he's quoting, what's it called? The Life of Brian, I think. $1,500 for your 0015. I haven't got a 0015, David. I've got a 0018. Are you lowballing me? I'm about to ban David from the stream. You're meant to say, oh yes, Aaron, 2200 is an excellent price for that guitar. Keep the price high. Yeah. The other thing is when you sell something cheap, I think people assume there's something wrong with it as well. And I guess there's some truth to that as well. I mean, if I buy a guitar today and sell it next week and say, oh, I'm selling this guitar I just got a week ago, the buyer's going to think, well, why? Why are they selling it after a week? Is it that bad? So there's a lot that goes into this. You know, I'm not a pro at this stuff. But I should just wait until I find someone that wants that. Or who knows, maybe one day I'll be live and someone will say to me, Aaron, I want to buy a 0018 with a Dazzo pickup. Where should I buy it? And I'll say, well, give me a call or an email. Mike has the dreader. He says, no, he sold it. Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah. You know, I'll just say a bit about that guitar. So you can't buy them anymore. The price I paid was basically for a new one. It was like new, apart from one scratch on the neck. It was like brand new. The case had a bit of a funky smell to it. I think it needed to be aired out. I think they just kept that guitar in the case in the attic or something. The guitar acoustically was one of the loudest Martins I've ever played, or guitars. And I think I've noticed that with some older guitars that are, say, 10 years old. I really think the guitars get louder as they age. I don't know. I've noticed that with a couple of guitars now. So I really love the sound of that guitar unplugged. Unplugged, I was very, very happy with that guitar. It had a very present and punchy and loud sound. It was cool. But I went and used it at a show, and it didn't sound that good through the PA that day. I don't know why. I've used that system before. It sounded really good. But that day didn't sound that great, and I couldn't do my drumming on it because there's no body sensor pickup. And then I saw the GPC 28s are also being discontinued, like that one was. And I thought, well, the GPC 28 is easier to repair, and so that's what happened. And I can't keep them all. That's the situation I'm in right now, right? I need to clear out stuff and get all my stuff in order. So next year, if something really cool comes out I want to review, if the company won't work with me to make a review, I can get one, again, hopefully used. Hopefully someone will buy a Silver Sky and sell it 2 months later, and I can get one used and then sell it on once I've reviewed it. That's really the best way to make reviews, isn't it? Buy the used stuff, review it, and then sell it back on for what you paid for it, hopefully a little bit more. But yeah, I need to do that. So I can't keep everything. So that had to go, unfortunately. But yeah, do I miss it? Yeah. Was I worried that I might have to get spare parts in the future? Yes, but I think that might just be an excuse to why I sold it. Even retail price can vary, yep. It's way past my bedtime, so Aaron's in Malaysia. Not sure what the time is there, but thanks for joining us. Merry Christmas. Yeah, good to see you, Aaron. Thanks for joining us. So it's good that I do this earlier stream at 1 o'clock, right? Because you can join us at this time. That's great. And Jared says, I have 3 electric guitars and all have stopped working. Wow. So what are you going to do? Are you going to find a luthier, repair them yourself? You know, gear has issues for sure. Grant says, it seems like guitar buying has slowed down significantly from this summer. I have a nearly new American Strat listed at 73% of retail and have gotten barely any traction. So it's not just me, Grant. Yep, I see that. I think so too, and yet, why are PRS guitars still sold out on Sweetwater? If you search for PRS guitars on Sweetwater, and let me show you this. This really blows my mind if this is still the case. I did a search for PRS guitars, okay? So, you can actually search here. I just found this out a few weeks ago. There's a way to search for what's in stock. At least there should be. Okay, look, solid body guitars, right? On the left, in stock. They've got 24. 24 guitars at Sweetwater in stock. And some of those are SEs. What is going on? And yet I agree, it feels to me like things have slowed down. It does, but not with everything. Some stuff is still hard to get. Let's just see what they got here. I'm interested. Let's see what they've got here that's not an SE and how much these SEs are. So they've got custom 24s. Wow, look at that one. That's why that hasn't sold yet. 14 grand. Yep, David's right. The SEs are all under 1,000. So I see where you're going with $9.99. It'll be the highest priced SE to still get John his commission. But yeah, okay, maybe he's right. We'll see. I'm prepared to admit that I was wrong, if I'm wrong. This is nice. I'm trying to find these DGTs because the real team got one, and he got one used as well. But you don't see any DGTs at all. So yeah. So I don't know. I think we're in this weird kind of crossover phase. Some stuff is still back ordered. Maybe stuff is back ordered because people ordered them and paid for them in the summer. Maybe people are not buying and selling right now. Who knows? Super chat, £5 from Patsy Smith. Thank you for the super chat today. I appreciate it. Here you go. Very generous. I appreciate the support with the channel. Means a lot. Thank you. Does the Voice i3 listen? I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Not many loopers do that. That Loopy Pro HD does though. Loopy Pro HD and a Morningstar MC8. And actually, Mike, this could be your lucky day. The Morningstar MC8, I don't know if you've seen my video on it that I've made in the past, works really well with the HX Stomp. And the HX Stomp works as an audio interface for the iPhone apps. Now, remember what I said? They can be horrible. They can crash on you and be buggy. I don't know yet with this Loopy HD. I haven't really tried it. But that could be a great way to go. The HX Stomp for your acoustic. The Loopy HD app for your phone. Plugged into the HX Stomp. And then control it with the MC8. Morningstar. Great pedal. MC8 or MC6 if you want a smaller one. I think the MC8 is the way to go. You've got 8 switches on there. That will control your stomp, give you extra buttons for your stomp, and also control Loopy HD. That could be really, really cool. And Loopy HD has all those features that you mentioned. So do consider that. But just bear in mind, your mileage may vary. The Morningstar works great, the Stomp works great. And also, offloading the looper into the phone will give you more processing power on the HX Stomp. So that's really cool too. But what you want to do first of all is to download Loopy HD and try it to see how stable it is and if it's got the features that you want. So that's definitely worth thinking about. Not Life of Brian's and Monty Python sketch. Are you British? Yeah, I'm British. I haven't watched Monty Python in a long time. Hey, Michelle. Good time for us in Europe. Great. Okay, good. I'll keep this time then going forward. Thomas Nonsense, good to see you. I had a PRS S2594 that I listed on Marketplace a couple of days ago. No bites for sale, but I swapped it for a Fender American Original 50 Strat. I got the better end of the deal. That's something else I've thought about doing, Thomas, next year. I've thought about doing, getting something used for a great price and spending a bit more time with it in one and doing like several videos over a month with it and then trading it for something else. So that way I'm never actually spending money. So just keep trading gear for a new piece of gear to have on the channel around the other stuff that I do. I think that's a great way to go. And that's a great way to try loads of stuff. If you're new to guitar, buy a used guitar, find a good deal and wait for a good deal on a used guitar, get it, play it, and then just keep trading it and trading it and trading it so you don't ever spend any money. You might even make money. If you lose money, it doesn't really matter that much. And then if you think back and think, well, I love that one, then go and buy that one new or used. I think that's the way to do it in hindsight. David has a Wood Library DGT. How's the neck though, David? Are they fat necks or thin necks? 5 a.m. in Brisbane at the moment. Merry Christmas, everyone. Oh, so not so good for you. The 4 o'clock is better for you because it would be 7 a.m. and not 5 a.m. The thing about live streaming is there's never a perfect time for anybody because it's impossible, right? I actually have a friend of mine, he goes live during the week and does a 10 a.m. concert, a 4 a.m. concert, and a 10 p.m. concert. So that way, everyone around the world is able to watch him perform because he's on 3 times in the day. Cool idea. I just go live and then you can watch the replay, which is cool too. So, wow, yeah, I can't believe it. I really thought today would have no news. I thought today would be all about just recapping the year, which I may do next week. I'm pretty sure there'll be no news this week, right? So I may do that next week. But like I said, still even more news despite the time of year. It's really quite cool. Okay. He says the neck is on the fatter side, not quite as big as the wide fat, which is my favorite. All the others have fat necks. We have to do a whole show about necks sometime. It's funny because I was actually playing last night with the Martin neck and there were certain chord shapes where I thought to myself, that neck is too thin. Like my hand was hurting a bit. I never thought that ever before, but because we were talking about neck shape on Monday's show, it's funny. I was just playing and suddenly went to do a certain chord and thought, oh, that feels uncomfortable. If the neck was fatter, it might be better. So there we go. Maybe some techniques and chords are better on fatter necks and some are better on thinner necks. And that's one thing, isn't it? There's no perfect. There's nothing as perfect. There's nothing that is perfect with gear. Fleshed out means fully loaded, fully thought out and implemented. Yes, David, but Fractal have been making products for years and hardware for years. And the FM9 is a spin-off of the Axe and the 3, which have been out for a while. And they have refused to work on their interface, which I do not like. I like the desktop editor, and if I had the Axe Effects rack, the turbo, I would use the editor and be very happy. I'd never take it out of the house. But the minute I take an FM9 to a gig and I have to make a change on the system, that annoys me. So, yes, I agree they've got a lot more features, but Neural with the Quad Cortex have the user interface. And then Axe Effects have all those features, most of which I don't even need, personally. I'm not saying other people don't, but I don't need those features. They keep adding more and more and more and more features, but they don't work on the interface. So, just my opinion. Jim says, sorry I'm late. Snowing in Vermont. Wow. Yeah, snowing over here too, Jim. The 50 Strat neck is so thick they could have made 2 Strat Ultra necks with that much wood. Yeah, but people say the fat necks sound better because there's more wood to vibrate. Yeah, they quickly put out an update with some cool stuff. Yeah, the on hardware editor suck. You see, everyone, I'm just trying to be neutral here because you're saying how fleshed out and advanced that stuff is. Yeah, it is, but my thought is it still doesn't sound like an amp in the room, and there's loads of parameters there that I'm glad they're there, but I never use them. For me, I can plug into a Quad Cortex, load the amp and the reverb, and play and be very happy. But I just want those. I want the looper. I want the other stuff. And their looper could be incredible. If they make something like the Eros looper, or even, like I said, the looper like you get in the Voice Live 3 Extreme, which is like 12 years old or something, that'd be great. Because then you buy it just for that. Just for the performance looper. That's the word, performance looper. Line 6 and the other ones, they just have a basic looper. If they can make a performance looper for the Quad Cortex, then you potentially buy it just for that and the EQs and things like that. They'd sell a lot more of them if they kind of get away from just the metal guitarists and try to appeal to loopers and acoustic players and singers. He says he's waiting. Yeah, I think it will. You know, I was talking about the Petrucci plugin at the start of the show, and that has a metronome. Is that alluding to some kind of sync? And when you set the metronome tempo on the app, it sets the speed of the delays and repeats. Is it gonna be like that in the QC, where you can actually set like a click, and then the delays match that click, and then the looper syncs to that click? Is that alluding to that? I don't know. I'm just being very, very optimistic. Okay, just have a sip of tea. Does the Peterson Strobo Plus HDC? I love this thing. You gotta get one. This is a great. I didn't do the whole Christmas gift thing this year, but if you want to get a last minute Christmas gift, I guess you've got time. If you order right now from Sweetwater, any musician would benefit from this. So get one of these. Metronome and strobe tuner. Love it. Does it have alternate tunings in its memory? Yes, it does. Is it programmable to remember alternate tunings for 12 string? I thought you asked me that last time, didn't you? And I said, yes, you just used alternate tunings and then tune the 12 string, because you're not tuning all 12 strings to different pitches. You're tuning the two strings to the same pitch, right? The E, A, D, G, B, E. Yeah, I mean, their software is incredible, and it's all done through their website on Chrome. You connect it to that, and you can update the firmware. And then on the device, there's so many options, and through that website, you can also manage things as well. They're really advanced with their software. Presets for all just came out with a QC capture pack from the. Oh, no way! Wow, are they selling that for money? That's actually quite hilarious. So they bought the Petrucci plugin that Neural make, and they made captures of the plugin, which is something that you can do, to be fair. If you own the QC, the Quad Cortex, and you do buy these plugins, you can just capture the sounds and use them. You don't have to wait for them to release the actual thing for the Quad Cortex. But someone captured them and then selling them for the Quad Cortex. They're basically selling Neural stuff that they're selling. See, do you agree with that or not? I think that's a bit cheeky. I think that's more of a joke. That's more saying, hey, how come to use the desktop plugin you make, I've got to capture it and use them that way rather than just use them in the device. Are they charging us? Yeah. Yeah, I don't agree with that. I know. But then again, do I agree with people capturing amps and selling them? You know, I do actually, because the thing is, I don't think the captures sound anything like the amps anyway. And like I said earlier, if you make a capture with your guitar and then sell it to someone, when they play it with their guitar, it won't sound the same anyway. Hey, it might sound better, you don't know, but it's not the same thing that they hear. Sorry for the repetitive questions, short memory syndrome. Stop the snow. Oh, I need a bit more. I'm not in that Christmas mood yet. Okay, fine. All right. Anyone got any last questions? Like I said, today is Wednesday. Friday may be the Christmas Eve carol concert. It's not carols. Friday may be Christmas Eve concert. I'm not sure yet. Depends on what's going on here. And then Saturday is Christmas Day. So I guess I should go and get some cards and gifts for people. And then Sunday, I'll be going live, yeah. And then next Monday, we're doing a wrap-up of the Monday show for the year, discussing what we've spoke about all through Mondays in 2021. Looking forward to 2022. I wonder if they'll delete their Petrucci captures from the clouds. They can't sell them. I don't know. I don't think they will, but I wouldn't blame them if they did. A lot of this stuff is just on your own conscience, isn't it? If you want to like capture something that someone's made and sell it for a profit, I mean, who's even going to buy that? Yeah, that's a good point, right? Why would you buy that? Because if you own a quad cortex that captures easily from a computer, and you have a computer, which I presume most people have, most musicians have a computer now anyway, why wouldn't you just get the free trial or buy the plugin for 150 and make your own captures of that with the quad cortex? It's just silly. It's just like a joke. Oh, it's only $10. Yeah, but the plugin has a free trial. If you really want to save money and make sounds that work with your gear, get the free trial and capture those, right? But then again, you could argue that's not fair either. But I think that is fair. I think Neural should have this implemented. And like David will say, they said this was coming from day one. A lot of this stuff was coming day one and is still not here. And the quad cortex has been out for almost a year. But I think it's coming soon. I hope it is. I hope we're not having the same conversation at the same time next year. When the world's open, I have to come to Australia. Now, I've never been to Australia, Thomas. Never been there. I'd love to visit. I've had many colleagues and musician friends in bands and things from Australia. I was just talking to one yesterday, actually, who was actually getting an HX stomp. So there you go. But I've never been to Australia. I was put off by the time of travel, you know, like how long it takes to fly there. But I'd love to go. I'd love to go and visit the Maton factory as well. Presets for all claim their custom IR is the key to making it sound right. What, they're saying it sounds bad? I think those cabs sound great in that plugin. They have the room mics as well, which is, I think, is key. I think that's why the Oxbox from Universal Audio sounds so good. All right, I'm going to wrap things up. I need to go and do some stuff. But thanks for joining me. It's been a great 2021. And I want to thank you for your support and watching my videos. I really appreciate it. And the chat, I love the chat because I just come on here with a few ideas and we end up just talking about completely different stuff, which is always a lot of interesting things and things to think about, which is cool. And we usually agree as well. Not always, but usually. Not saying that we have to, but it's good. No, I like getting people's opinions and thoughts, and that'll help me influence like what kind of videos that I do too. So it's really good. So have very happy holidays. Merry Christmas. However you spend this week, let it be safe and happy. And I'll look forward to seeing you soon. All I can say, like always, is just subscribe and ring the bell. Turn on notifications, and then you'll just see, obviously the regular schedule is Monday at 4 EST, Wednesday at 1 EST, Sunday at 4 EST. But if I do post a video or if I do go live, say for example on Friday, if you've subscribed and rung the bell, it will tell you, hey, Aaron's gone live, and you can choose to come watch or watch the replay. That'd be great. David said, have a Merry Christmas, Aaron. Thank you too, David. I'll be wrapping the quad cortex and putting it under the tree as this year's gift to myself. Without the firmware that I was hoping for. That sounded really mean, didn't it? All right, everyone. Mike, good to see you, Mike. Cheers. And I look forward to seeing if you were right about the price of the PRS SE Silver Sky next month. I'm going to keep those. I'm going to keep those things, those prices and guesses written down. So we'll check that next year, I guess. All right. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.